Come for a ride with me.
Hello everybody and welcome to CHB TV. I'm your host Matt Lee, joined by Clay, Imoo and J.J. Guerrero. Gentlemen, we're going to get through this entire segment without making fun of my fantasy team once, right? Are we clear?
Maybe.
Not
Gotcha.
once.
No mic though.
Alex Ovechkin can still explode for points. I'm still waiting for it. Gentlemen, the first question that we're going to get to right now, the topic of offense from the American Express line, the second line. Chris Higgins, Ryan Kesler, as well as David Booth. Oh my goodness. They have been very good lately. David Booth about 11 points in the last 12 games. Similar to that, Ryan Kesler seemed to find his scoring touch again. And of course, Chris Higgins has 7 goals on the year right now. First question was to Clay, can they keep up this type of production?
I'd like to think so, Matt, especially you need Chris Higgins to actually play though. But I think before his injury, which we didn't expect, they've been playing well. You know, all three of them skate really well. Yep. And I always joke around Booth and Kesler, they haven't seen a shot that they don't like. I think they need Higgins, that he does a bit more of the playmaking. But yes, especially when Higgins healthy, I think they can keep it up. They just got to keep skating to the net. That's a quality that not all of our forwards do well. And as long as they keep going to the net, like a lot of the goals last night, just centering passes or quick bounces, I think they can keep it up for sure.
On that note, JJ, is it safe to say that David Booth has finally acclimated himself to Vancouver's second line?
Oh yeah, I think he's definitely getting used to the system. I mean, you mentioned all those power moves to the net. I mean, how many times have you seen David Booth go around the corner and around the defenseman and right in front of the net? I mean, we haven't seen that done consistently here in Vancouver since, Todd Bertuzzi, so it's really good to see him actually get used to the system, finally putting up points, 12 points, I think in his 18 games here in the Canucks uniform, so he's doing great. I hope they keep it up. Let's see what they do now with Higgins being out with a staph infection. I don't know how long he's out for, but Hansen's coming in there in the short term anyway.
Jannik Hansen makes his return to the second line in place of Chris Higgins, taking over for Jannik Hansen's spot on the third line will be Mason Raymond, who Canucks fans saw last night for the first time since the Stanley Cup final. JJ, Mason Raymond, how did you think he looked last night?
Well, I think he looked alright. Not bad for his first game in about 5 or 6 months or so, right? That's a really serious injury, and I remember listening to Team 1040, and they're talking about how, we can't expect too much out of this guy. He's got to get used to the mental side of being hit and all that sort of stuff, and, we'll give him a bit of time. I think playing on the third line, if he's playing about 11, 12 minutes a game, which is what the coaching staff wants from him, as long as he doesn't forget to play defense. He's shown some speed. He's shown, some quality rushes there with Hodgson and Hansen.
We're getting the lines mixed up already because of all the injuries. Yes. Clay, on that note about Mason Raymond's speed, he looked like his hands weren't that far away either. Can we see the production bump up anytime soon? Yeah,
I was blessed to be there last night, and he looked really good. He didn't look timid at all. He looked fast. He looked like he wanted to get right in there. I cringed every time someone came near him near the boards, but he did really well. I'm just more curious as to which Mason Raymond we'll see, right? The one from 2 seasons ago, over 20 goals, or the one from last year where he did struggle, both in the regular season and the playoffs. But yeah, his feet are there already. His hands not too far behind. He took that wicked slap shot from the right side there. It looked really good. He fell over, which gave me confidence that because he got back up. So that's the main thing. We can kick him, and we can't kick him down.
Yeah. Last time I was on this panel, gentlemen, the flavor of the week on the blue line was Alex Edler and his point production. It's been leveling off over the last couple of weeks, but certainly he's been replaced by a couple other defensemen stepping up in his place. Most notably, Dan Hamhuis, who has quietly put together a long string of points right now. Dan Hamhuis on pace for about 46 points this season. JJ, can you see Dan Hamhuis getting to that level?
It'd be something else. I mean, we got Dan Hamhuis obviously, and I know Kaylee King, who's one of our writers, pointed it out, that we got him mainly because he's a defensive guy. He's solid on his own end, very dependable. Yeah, you're right. He's on pace for about 46 points right now. He was on pace for 29 points last year. So
it's good math, JJ.
On the fly too.
Our numbers guy, J.J. Guerrero.
Wow. Insert Canucks Army joke here. But that offense from defense is really key for the Canucks, especially early in the season because they're having some trouble getting some secondary scoring. Right now, the defense is on pace to, I think, combined to exceed about 200 points for the season. Last year's defense combined for about 157. So it's good that they're getting some production on the back end.
On that note, Clay, is Dan Hamhuis the benefactor of playing on a team that's got a lethal power play, or are we just seeing a smart player benefiting from making nice passes?
I think Dan Hamhuis is benefiting from no Christian Ehrhoff. Yeah. Because we talked earlier in another panel, just as soon as Ehrhoff, you lose him and his 50 points, someone's got to pick up the slack. Might not be all 50, but we've seen it with Salo, started off well, Edler, as you mentioned, and now Hamhuis and Bieksa. You know, I'm waiting for my boy Keith Bauer to get going, but he's got to get the puck out of his own end first. So, but aside from that, no, I think Hamhuis is the beneficiary, definitely of Ehrhoff's departure, some power play time, and just overall more confidence in stepping out.
You mentioned Kevin Bieksa. He's quietly put together now a 5-game point streak. Gentlemen, are we ready to take the goat horns off this guy, or are we still in a wait-and-see attitude?
I just love, he scores some weird goals. Like the one last night, he just shoots
Bizarre. Off the boards, off the feet.
Off the stanchion, off anything. And I've seen a couple of interviews where he just said he hasn't changed a thing. It's just sometimes the pucks go in, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you get the pluses, sometimes you get minuses, whatever. PDO stuff, I don't get any of that kind of stuff. But still, more importantly, I think he's just, again, like him, he was just playing his game, and the results are starting to show up for him. So yeah, he can keep it up for sure.
Defensively, JJ, has Kevin Bieksa been better, or has we seen much of the same so far?
Well, I think we're seeing Kevin Bieksa start to be more consistent in his own end, and you know that was the one thing that was missing right at the start of the season. I don't know if he was trying to overcompensate, he's trying to do too much, you know, knowing that Ehrhoff's not there to produce the offense. But now he's staying more within his game, which is good because Bieksa is better when he's not playing, when he's not trying to do too much on the ice.
It's the most talked about topic in Vancouver right now.
I know where you're going.
We know where we're going. On one side of the ring, you got Corey Schneider. On the other side, you have Roberto Luongo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Aaron Rome was the most.
Oh no, well, Aaron Rome is yesterday's news now at this point. JJ, you've got some numbers on Corey Schneider and Roberto Luongo since November. Who's been the better goalie, and in your mind, who should be getting the start tomorrow against Colorado?
Well, I think Vigneault said it properly. I mean, they've got a 1A, 1B situation here, right? I mean, if you look at the stats from November, Schneider's 5-2-0. And I've got my cheat sheet here. He's got a .931 save percentage and a 2.21 goals against. Luongo since November, 5-3-0, .918, 2.33 goals against average. Fairly similar numbers, same win totals. I mean, I can't remember any other time in Canucks history where they've got two really good goalies basically battling each other for the top spot. It's a nice luxury to have. You know, I don't know why everyone's talking goalie controversy. You know, like someone said this, maybe they should be talking about goalie tandem instead.
On that note about goalie tandems, we've seen in the past that this situation has been good for some teams in the NHL play. Most notably, you look no further than the 2011 Stanley Cup champions, the Boston Bruins. I know I had to throw the name out there, but you know we've seen Tim Thomas supplanted by Tuukka Rask before. A year later, Tim Thomas guided the Bruins to the Stanley Cup final and winning the championship. I mean, is this just a good thing for both goalies here?
Absolutely. I'm a big Luongo fan, as people know, and I like Corey Schneider. I think for this season, it's fine. Schneider's got a contract that pays him $900,000. You can't beat that, right? With Luongo, we know about his salary and his contract. So I think for this year, it's fine. I think what's going to be really interesting is what happens in the offseason and what happens next year. I would love to see both guys here next season at this time. I don't know if that's the reality. All I care about now is that no one runs either of them in the crease. That's all I care about.
We'll make sure that Jordan Tutu stays off, stays out of their grill by the time that happens. Thanks for joining us. We'd love to continue talking to us, but it is about 0 degrees out here. It's supposed to snow tomorrow, so thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.
Okay, here we go.
Hello everybody and welcome to Canucks Hockey Blog. I'm your host Matt Lee, joined by Clay Imoo. Did I say that right?
That's alright.
I did say it right. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Let me start that again. Imoo.
Finding Imoo.
Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to Canucks Hockey Blog and the Canucks... Hello everybody, welcome to CHB TV. I'm your host Matt Lee, joined by Clay Imoo. I said that, okay. Imoo. This time, for real this time. Okay.
What he's texting.
I just gotta make sure I got
it.
You
got all the outtakes you need right there.
Alright, yeah, I know. We don't need to talk about Matt's shitty fantasy.
No, don't worry, that's...